What is up, everybody? Just trying to get into the video here so I can watch for your messages. Hello, Haz and Kata. How are you guys doing today? Okay, what are we gonna go check on first? This is the version 2.1, the one that will be released here hopefully either later today or tomorrow. Just trying to make sure, running through some last minute checks to make sure everything's working and see if we can catch any errors before you guys do. We always like to catch them before people bring them up to our attention, but we don't get them all, that's for sure. I'm doing pretty good. Had the day off today, so I figured I would try to work on this for you guys and get some progress on it. As you can see, 60 FPS. For those people that are saying it can't be done, it's being done right now on my computer. Okay, I think I'm going to check the dairy real quick. There were some issues with the triggers. So just want to make sure all of the dairy stuff works. So we'll go ahead and place one of these just so we can kind of cheat here and test all the triggers out. And we're going to need a tractor. And actually, you know what, guys, bear with me. I'm gonna jump out real quick. I'm gonna install a different mod that I'm gonna need just so we can get this going. Alright, sorry about that, guys. I forgot the teleport mod, and when I'm testing things, I like to use it because it gets me places quicker. Alright. Hey Ryan, thank you, man. Thank you for watching, and no problem. I enjoy doing the map. I know I'm still learning things, but I enjoy doing it and kind of giving you guys a chance to watch the progress. I know some people enjoy watching. So Cody, not all of the ground textures are fixed in version 2.1. We're hoping that by version 3 they will be. Version 3 is pretty much going to be the final version, hopefully. So hopefully we can get the version 3 done for you guys. Again, back in game, there's the 60 FPS. Now there are spots where it will drop down. There's a lot of objects on this map, trees and whatnot. So there are different spots. Right now I'm at 40, but that's also near one of the cities. Back up to 60. A lot of times with giants, the first pass through an area, it's a little more intense on the computer because it loads all these images or textures. But then if you notice, you'll go back through and it'll be at a higher setting. That's really nothing I can do to fix. I mean, that's just the way that Giants loads all these texture files in. So, because you can see last time we went by here, we were in our 40s, now we're back to 60s. So it's just kind of goofy that way. The first time you hit an area, you might get a little bit of a drop. But for the most part, we're running 60s, pretty solid. Alright, so I'm going to go test this. Oops. Wrong key. I'm going to go test this dairy, make sure the triggers are working. Alright, Cody, so the brief version, I'll try to remember everything. I might not. I might forget some things, but the version 2 beta, there were some problems with the triggers for the animals. They got moved somehow. I don't know if it was something that we did accidentally or if it was something that you know, got corrupted in the files when we uploaded it and you guys downloaded it. But I did notice that the text or the triggers for the animals got moved around, so we went through and fixed all those. They are all now in the correct place. We added some additional fruits. I'm going to go ahead and sell some of these just to get rid of them. We added some additional fruits. Terrain angles is installed in this version 64. We've got some texture issues that were resolved. Not all of them, but we were able to work on some of them. We got the file size down from 1.6 gigs, or roughly 1.6. I think it was 1.5 something, down to 8. I think it's 8.6. So it's less than a gig now. The entire map is less than a gig, which to me I thought was pretty good. I mean, it's a lot of these, you know, a lot of the 17 maps, especially the bigger 4X ones, are usually a lot higher than 1 gig. So I was happy with it. What else did we do? Did a little bit of work on the sawmill. It's not 100% done. I would like to add some more details to it and make it a little more alive feeling, but for the time being it is all functioning and working. Added some sell points for the logs and stuff like that. And what else did we do? We added some static objects that weren't in before, some detail objects, just to kind of make it look more alive. I know I'm forgetting stuff, but hopefully I gave you at least some idea, Cody. Fruit types you're going to have wheat, barley, canola, sunflower, soybean, corn, potatoes, sugar beet, oilseed, poplar, grass, oats, rye, triticale, spelt, and millet for the time being. And then, oh, Cody, another thing we did add. Let me open up the animal dialog. As you can see right down here, we do have the wet distiller's corn added, and it is functioning. There's a trigger for it, so that's another addition. Ryan, that was one of the issues with version 2. The animal triggers, like I said, the animal triggers got kind of messed up and moved around, and so that should be resolved in version 2.1, but the mess area will be in front of their feeding trough on your side of the fence, not on the goat side. So just that's where it will be, just so you know, so you'll be able to find it. I really shouldn't have got this. I didn't realize that I selected the duals on here. We're not going to be able to fit in the building. I'm going to have to get rid of those duals real quick. Okay, so just to show you guys that it's working, and also for me just to test it, make sure it's working. I'm going to go ahead and run through all the things that the cows need, since we were having issues with these. I'm sure I passed it a couple times, but I wasn't paying attention. I'm looking for the white cake. There we go. Okay, now I'm not going to completely fill them because I want to make sure that we can get more than one in. And yeah, this thing's not going to fit, so let me go take these wheels off real quick. Farmer Klein, yeah, that's one of the big fixes that version 2.1 has, is all the animal triggers. And that's actually what I'm checking right now, just to make sure they all are working. And again, for those of you that didn't know this, all of the farms have this little repair kit, and that's where you can edit your vehicle and fix them. And that's also a dynamic object, so you can pick it up and take it with you, put it in the back of a pickup or whatever, and it will function. Cody, there's not necessarily a benefit per se for the distiller's corn, but it's, you know, just something that's done in real life. It's a byproduct of making ethanol, and in Iowa, I think Iowa's actually the leading producer of ethanol in the United States, so they have a lot of it, and they feed it to the cows. It's like it's a sweet type feed. The cows like it. Alright, let me, I'm trying to move this, there we go, to my grain door, and as you can see, it's giving me the unload option. Now I can unload in this one, and I'm actually going to stop just because I want to check this other barn to make sure that we can unload in both. And sorry guys, I'm trying to keep up with your messages, but I might be missing some of them. Ryan, yeah, sorry about that, bud. I know, like I said, we thought we had it fixed in version 2, and then somehow the triggers got moved, and I don't know if it was our mistake or if something got corrupted in the download or the upload, sorry. But I do know for sure that the triggers did move. They were some of them were way off. Kyle, thank you. Will all fruit silo come with the map? No, Don, that's actually, to be honest, I don't even know where or who gave that to me. I don't know if it's public or not. As you guys can see, we can unload in both barns. So basically what you're doing is you're unloading in the center alley here, and obviously if the cows were in here, they would be sticking their head through and eating. Now in real life there'd probably be some form of trough here, but you know, this just kind of makes it easy. So you're gonna dump feed, grass, all that stuff in the center. I'm gonna go ahead and check the cows. As you can see, we're starting to get you know, stuff filling here. Now we could put hay and silage in this as well, and then I'm gonna add some grass and straw. Farmer Klein, I am trying desperately, because I know that there are some people that are really wanting to get this version 2.1. I am shooting. My goal is to either get this thing out sometime this evening or tomorrow. Now that's if everything works correctly. That's why I'm testing it right now. So, you know, I don't want to make any guarantees and then have you guys mad at me when I say I can't release it tonight or tomorrow, but that is the goal, at least at this moment. I'm testing it right now. There's some other people testing it as well, and as long as all the feedback from the testers come back saying yeah, it's good, then we'll go ahead and get it out. Kata, I'm trying to think on that one. I'm pretty sure there's silage sell points, but I haven't tried them yet, so I will definitely check when we're done with the cows. Alright, we need some grass. So Cody, the grass is going to go in the same location as the distiller's corn. Right down the center alley. Cody, technically, if you were to rename the zip when you get it, it'll be titled version 2.1. If you were to change the name back to version 2, it would technically work on your save game. However, like the new ethanol plant and stuff would be totally messed up. So just keep that in mind if you are wanting to try to avoid a new save game. You're gonna have some issues. Like it should function, but you're gonna have some issues with things not being in the right spot. So I'm gonna get rid of this extra grass that we have. Red Rebel, yeah, Red Rebel's right. Don, you're gonna need UPK to use the buy all silo. And Red, thanks for putting that link in, or the place to find it in there. I couldn't remember where I got it. Just getting rid of this extra corn so I can go ahead and try this real quick. Now I'm not sure if this tipper will work for straw. I might have to get a I'm gonna have to get the whatever it's called. Animals. I'm gonna go ahead and buy this just in case. Okay, so we still need water, straw, and we could add some TMR in here. Farmer, so far the UPK and Fabric Scripts are working on this map together. There will be 2 errors you'll notice in the log for the Fabric Script, but it is working flawlessly. I haven't noticed any issues with it not working or any issues with performance. It hasn't affected my performance at all, but it will, just so you guys are aware, there will be 2 errors referring to the Fabric Script. See if I can do this without hitting my little fans here. Just gonna get rid of all this. The fertilizer triggers should work. They've worked for me when I've tested them. We can go try them here while I'm testing right now. Let me jump in this other tractor real quick. We're going to give some straw, and then I'm going to need a water trailer, and we will give the cows some water. Make sure those triggers are working. Great, I'm not going to be able to fill it with any. Nope, I need some straw bales. I know it'll definitely let me carry the straw. I just don't know if this tipper will allow me to dump it in the right place. We'll see. Tom, I did notice that message, and I'm pretty sure we got to it. I'll have to double check on it. Okay, so you will be able to load with a tipper. As you can see, the straw planes are showing up. Alright, so we have enough straw. What are we missing other than water? That's it. So let's get a water trailer. Bring this back down to the shop. Get ourselves some water. Tom, thanks, buddy. Okay, so now while I'm down here by the shop, I'm gonna check, just to double check the trigger at the sale barn to make sure that that is working. As I said, we want to make sure all the triggers are functioning for you guys. So as you can see on my HUD, it says open animal dialogue. So we would be able to purchase them from here, but I'm going to check the other trigger, make sure that's working as well. Alright. Teleport back over to the dairy farm. And we'll check these water triggers real quick. Farmer, yeah. It is definitely dangerous, man. It is nice to have though when you're, especially when you're testing. Like when I actually play the game, I usually play it pretty realistically, or try to. But when you're testing things out, you don't want it to be driving back and forth. So it's nice to have. Alright, so as you can see, anywhere on the map that has a water trigger is going to have this sign right here. Water for livestock only. That's just more or less a way for you to know that there's a water trigger there. So, or you know, they'll have a hose spigot or something like that, so that you guys are going to be able to find it. I didn't want to put the big blue, you know, icons on the map. I just feel like that takes away from the realism. Oh, there. Now for some reason I've moved this trigger multiple times. I don't know if this just happens to be the water trailer that's off a little bit, but I mean that's decent, I guess. But this is the offload spot for the water. So as you can see, it's giving me the option to unload. So we'll jump back into our cows. So everything for cows is working. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to run through every single animal farm real quick. So let's go ahead and give the pigs, we'll go ahead and give the pigs some water. Now the pig water triggers are actually right next to each other, so if you really technically wanted to, you can fill the trailer and unload at the same time. Okay, so we can actually refill and unload at the same time. I'm going to go ahead and let it keep refilling. And I'm going to jump over to the sheep farm. And I actually need to be on the other side. So let me open that. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and fill everything up, and then we'll buy animals and make sure that the dirty spots are working, whatever you call them. The fields are not going to be buyable in version 2.1. They will be in 3 though. We just haven't gotten around to it. And you know, there's so many different ways of looking at this map, or at least making maps. You know, some people are in the category of you should never release anything until it's finished. You know, there's a lot of people that agree with that statement, and they think, well, nothing should really be released. As you can see, sheep water's working. But you know, they argue that nothing should be released until it's finished, because then there's no errors and there's no problems with anything, and yada yada yada. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything right or wrong with that at all, but me personally, I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to enjoy the map and play the map as it was getting built, and that's why I chose to you know, kind of do it in an open beta status. But with that said, there are some negative aspects to open betas, because obviously there's going to be errors, and you guys are going to have to do restarts and, you know, save game restarts and whatever. And I understand that that's really frustrating for people. But my answer to them, at the risk of sounding kind of like a jerk, but you know, my answer to them would be, if you don't want to do restarts and you don't want there to be errors, then you really need to wait until the map is finished before you download it and play it. But if you know, if you're okay with the fact that not everything's going to be there right away, then by all means, you know, come enjoy the map and help us test it and make sure it's working. Okay, so straw's in kind of a goofy spot. The straw's over here, and I don't know if I'll be able to tip or if I need the... Yep, it's going to let me unload. Now you can use the bale shredder and all that stuff here too. Okay, so we've got straw. I need corn. Okay, I need a lot of stuff, so I'm just going to go ahead and move a bile silo over here just for the sake of testing. Alex, how's it going? Kata, yeah, those field definitions are going to be a pain, and that's why they're waiting for version 3. You are correct on that. Farmer, yeah, you are correct, man. I don't think anything's ever really truly finished, although there are some people in this community that demand it and expect it and get mad when it isn't. But I agree with you. When you're a map maker, every time you get into a map, you find something you want to change or add, and you know, I know that's frustrating for the people that aren't making the map, but I guess that's just the creativity in me. I always want to improve it and change things. Kata, yeah, there are bale triggers for each one of them in the same spots. However, I don't have a bale mod in right now, and I'm not going to sit here and make hay bales while you guys watch. So I unfortunately am not going to be able to test it on this video today, but I will jump in and get some bale a bale mod in, so I can just real quickly try it and make sure it works. Okay, let's get some corn. Probably don't need a whole lot. We're just gonna have little piles of stuff everywhere out here. Yes, the pigs will spawn in the barn. Oops. Guess I need to lower that first, huh? Okay, so need some wheat and barley. John, thanks, but I really can't take credit for the mods that went with the map. You know, those were just given to me to put in the map, and a lot of them are edits and, are not original pieces necessarily, but they were released. So, but I do agree with you. It's nice to have some American equipment, and that's why we wanted to do that. And hopefully for version 3, which will be like the final release, there will be another mod pack going with it. So if you know anyone that's got some mods that they've created themselves, not leaked mods, not stolen mods, but things that they've done work to themselves, and they want to add them to the mod pack, by all means send us a message and we'll get them in. Okay, what else do we need here? I'm gonna give it some soybeans. When you farm pigs in the U.S., what do you feed them? Honestly, I've never farmed pigs. Although my ex-wife grew up on a hog confinement. I think pretty much pigs eat everything and anything, really. Iowa, we have a lot of corn and soybeans, so obviously they feed a lot of that to them. All right. So I need some potatoes or sugar beets. And again, I'm just trying to make sure that all these different categories work. So I'm not necessarily doing this in the real way that I would normally do it, but John, thanks, man. Yeah, absolutely. I'm just trying to make sure everybody gets credit for the things. I don't enjoy getting accused of being a mod thief, although sometimes people do try to say that I'm not giving people credit. I try my hardest to give everybody credit that I can. Tom Steele, in real life, what do you use all this corn for? Tom, corn really goes into a lot of stuff. It can be, most of the corn that's grown in my neck of the woods is feed corn, so it goes to feed animals. It's not the kind of corn that a human would eat, but corn goes into a lot of different products, different food products. It's used to make ethanol, which is a big fuel additive in the U.S. And again, like I said earlier, I think Iowa is actually the nation for the United States is actually the largest producer of ethanol. So a lot of our corn grown here goes to ethanol plants where they make fuel for vehicles. And like in Iowa, it's different in each state here, but like in Iowa, all of the fuel that you would buy at a gas station has ethanol added to it in different amounts. So there are some that have a lot of ethanol and some that have just like 10%. Okay, so we need some hay or grass for the sheep, and then we should be good to go buy them and test them. Cornbread. You can make a lot of cornbread with all the corn here. some hay. Okay. Would really love to see a big silage depot with those massive heaps of corn silage. You know, to be honest, I mean, I'm not a farmer in real life, so I'm not an expert in this, but I do live in farm country, and, you know, I did grow up in a family that farmed, but a lot of the silage that's made here in this area, at least of the U.S., is actually not, it's mostly used for, you know, feed and things like that right away. Well, they don't sell a whole lot of it. Okay, where am I going? Let's go to the sheep. And like I said, you know, that could be different in different parts of the country, but more thanks, man. Thanks for subscribing. I think this channel has grown, you know, exponentially here. It's kind of cool to watch it. I think we're up to almost 700 people now. So it's kind of exciting, and I appreciate all the support you guys have given me. Alrighty. Let's see if we can find this trigger for... There we go. As you can see, the trough works. Okay, so we have enough feed for 6 days. So all the animals are full. So let's go ahead and buy some sheep, pigs, and cows, and we'll do it right from the trigger nearest to them, just so we can make sure they're working. Okay, so you can open up the animal dialog at each of the locations, or you can do it at the sale barn that we were at earlier that you guys were watching. So I'm just going to buy 50 of each, and then we'll let them run a little bit while we're checking all these other things. And I better close my gate so they don't escape, huh? But we'll go ahead and let that run and check the cleanliness areas. Okay, so let's go ahead and just teleport. Go to the pigs. And the animal dialog's right here in the front. We'll go ahead and buy 50 pigs. As you can see, they're inside there, and the troughs and everything are working. And then let's go to the cows. And the drop-off point for these, or the buy point if you want to do it at the farm, is right here in front of this door. Okay, so let's go ahead and buy 50 cows. Uh-oh. I don't have enough money. Good thing I put the money mod in. Okay, let's try that one more time. Okay, now all of our values probably changed drastically. Yeah, see how they went way down, because now that we have cows, have animals, we're gonna need more. But this should be enough to give us, to show us how well they're working. So we'll let that go. We've already tested all of the fields; those are all working. All the crops are plantable, harvestable. So I'm not gonna waste my time doing that in the video here. We can check the silage bunkers real quick. I haven't personally checked them yet. I know there have been others that have, and they tell me that they're working. So let's jump over here. Farmer, there's that dangerous teleport there. So there's two things I really want to check here. I want to make sure that not only we can dump, I'm trying to get it back in this back corner for a reason. I want to make sure that we can dump, but I also want to make sure that it's not going to go through the walls. Okay. Someone told me that this one... We just tried this the other day. I know it was working. What am I doing wrong? You should be able to do it with grass. Wow, that's a lot of grass for that little trailer. Yeah, the funny thing is I am not the one that should be testing the animals right now because I actually never play with them in the game. So to me it just, I get lost and then I feel like an idiot. Yeah, that was definitely hay, because I forgot we were bringing that to the sheep, so that's why it wasn't working. We'll try it with chaff, and then we'll try it with grass. Oh, there. I was looking down at your guys' messages. Should never do that in drive. Okay, I can just tell by looking at the manure that it's working. Malini, someone posted up above, I think they said it's the, I think it was Mod Hub maybe, that has it. Okay, so I want to dump it in this corner because I'm going to try to push it and just make sure that it doesn't go through the walls. Cody, I agree. Hopefully, from what I've heard, the rumors at least, that the cows that are coming with the new DLC are beef cows, so hopefully that's true. I'm gonna get one more load of grass, just so we have a little bit more in there, and then I'm gonna try to push it against the walls. John, there are no cow animations inside the barns. There will be, in version 3, there will be cows that are in the barns moving around and walking, but we weren't able to put the game cows in the buildings because of the collision issues. They were like floating in the air and walking over fences, and it didn't look realistic at all. So we decided to put the cows back out here in this pasture. That's where they show up, and then we'll have some basically there'll be fake cows inside. of course, I can't mix these, can I? Cyber, what's up? I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this with grass now. Again, guys, I don't ever use the animals in this game. No. Get some more chaff then. That's a waste of a trailer load of grass. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's... It wasn't letting me unload there, guys, so... I don't know if it'll allow you to mix chaff and grass. Does it? Yeah, that's what I'm doing, farmer. I'm doing the force unload. I don't know. I mean, I know obviously the chaff is working. I'm pretty sure we've dumped grass in here by itself, but I've never tried to dump grass with chaff. But like you guys said, it should be turning to chaff. Gonna take the shortcut. I don't see it coming through the walls, so that's a good thing. That's the main thing I'm trying to test right now. Have you guys actually dumped grass and chaff? More. You can't mix it if it's a modded map. I've tried that with American Farm map. Yeah, I guess I've never tried it. I usually either only have grass or chaff. I don't think I've ever tried it with a mix of both. Alright, let's get a loader here. Just checking to see if we can push through the walls or not. We shouldn't be able to. I would definitely say that's working. There's a tiny little bit there at the bottom, but there's no way we'll ever make it perfect. Yeah. There's a little bit coming through, but not much. Okay, one last thing. I want to check in this dairy farm while we're at it, just to make sure that we can dump in the commodity barn. That's one thing that a lot of people were asking about. Cyber, this is 2.1 that I'm showing right now, that I'm testing. Hopefully either today or tomorrow we'll go ahead and release it. We're just trying to test it, make sure everything's working properly. And again, for those you know, the haters, I'll call them, that say we can't get 60 FPS on this map, we're running at 60 FPS right now. So there are certain spots where it'll drop down lower. It's not perfect. This is a very, you know, intense map for certain textures and objects and whatnot. But alright, let's go ahead and dump some corn in here. I've never been able to mix either unless there was such a small amount, kind of like if you have a small amount of straw in your baler. Gotcha. Yeah, thanks for that, Tracy. Okay, we're gonna make sure we can dump in here. More, you know, I've said this in other videos, but to me, as long as it's above, you know, mid 30s, like if I'm floating around 40, mid 40s, I'm happy. Like honestly, I was so used to playing with a laptop and stuff for so long that I guess I got used to, you know, having lag on maps. But you know, they say that the human eye can't tell the difference of anything over 30. I kind of disagree with that. I mean, there's times where 30s will kind of bother me. Uh-oh, stuck on the ceiling. But, you know, I mean, if I'm consistently between 40 and 60, you're not going to hear any complaints from me. But there are definitely some people in this community that if your map is not running 60 FPS, then it's just a pile of junk. And I don't agree with that. So, anyways, as you can see, you are able to dump down the commodity barn. Yeah, Kevin, I have a 970 GTX, and I'm, like I showed you, I'm getting 60. So with your 1080, you should be fine. Now there will be spots in certain areas where it's going to drop. You know, like in the cities where the textures are a little more intense and there's more objects, you might drop down, but you should easily be able to be getting 60. Okay, anything you guys can think of that I need to test on the dairy itself? I will go check those fertilizer points. I can't remember who asked about it, but someone was asking about the fertilizer cell points. Were you talking about the ones in town? I will definitely butcher your name if I even try to say it. Hervedegzifiskin. I'm sorry, but if you want to tell me where you're looking at, where you want me to test the fertilizer triggers, I'll go ahead and test them. The fermenters, yeah, I'll definitely try those real quick. I forgot to even test those. I mean, I've tested them before, I just haven't tested them on this 2.1. Like I said, guys, I am not the dairy guy. I have actually never played a full game on Farm Sim 17 where I've had animals. I want to try it now that I have this map kind of done. I want to try it, but I've never actually done it myself. So I am the worst person to be testing the animals right now, but my buddy Roger has definitely been testing the crap out of this dairy, and he hasn't had any complaints. The one across the bridge from the town where you buy your vehicles. Oh, that actually, I think we might have added fertilizer triggers there, but that actually might change in version 3. That's why we kind of neglected that little area, the CPS. So there actually wasn't a trigger there for it, but I think there might be on this one. Okay, so oops, yeah, it's still unloading. So as you can see, your scales or your gauge is going up there. We're filling it with grass, and then let's see if I can get around here. Eventually this will start to fill. It's at 0 now, but it'll start to fill up. It just takes a little while. I might have to fast forward it a little bit to get it to work. Katie, yeah, I'm definitely curious about the animals. I know a lot of people enjoy them, so the silos are definitely compatible with seasons. I've used them in seasons. Okay, so as you can see now, we're at 1250 silage, and it'll slowly just kind of trickle up. And just to make sure, we'll go ahead and get some silage. There we go. That camera was kind of a bad angle. Alright, so now I have silage, so eventually that will fill up. And I believe we updated the capacity of these to 350,000. Okay, so silage is working. Cody, wow, that's pretty impressive. Maybe I do need to start using the animals more. Okay, now I know it's kind of hard to, I know it's hard to see from the angle, but as you can see, the alleys now are starting to fill up with stuff in the middle, and that's the dirt areas for the silos. Or sorry, these aren't silos. That's the dirt area for the cows in the barns. I'm probably empty. No, I've still got stuff. So we're down to 95. That's still 100, so that might not even be showing yet. But yeah, basically the dirt areas that need to be cleaned are running down the middle here. And just to show that that works, let's just grab a skid steer for the heck of it. Oops. So as you can see, I'm starting to pick up stuff. There's not a whole lot yet on the ground, so I've only picked up 1% so far. Yeah, the yields are being reworked. Version 3 will have field dimensions, and all the yields will be equivalent to real life. But right on version 2.1, we haven't changed much of those yet. Yeah, there's not a whole lot to clean right now, but it's definitely working. It's just that we haven't gotten dirty yet. We're still at 95%. But, I mean, as you guys can see, I was able to pick up some. Maybe I just picked up grass. I don't know. We'll see. I know it works because I have tested that. I might just have to let it get a little more dirty first. We'll go ahead and run a couple days. Actually, I do want to check one thing. Okay, manure's working. I'm going to get right down here on the edge just to make sure this is actually moving. So I'm just curious about this line right here. Yep, and as you can see, it's moving up. We're going to be submerged in poo here real quickly, so let's jump out of there. So that's working. Now hopefully our dirtiness, oh yeah, Everything's dirty. For some reason it picked up grass again. I've never actually tried this with a skid steer. I usually do it with a scoop on a tractor. I know it's working because I can see it. I just need to find a way to get it. There we go. We're picking it up now. It's kind of finicky, like it doesn't like to be picked up with this thing. But we can always try the little sweeper too. Okay, so that's definitely working. It's just kind of finicky with this scoop. I've done it with the tractors where you can literally scoop quite a bit of it. Okay, let's try pigs. Just make sure they're showing up. Where are the pigs? Wrong way. $51 viewers right now. Hey, thanks guys. Thanks for all the people watching and all the support. And definitely for those new people here, subscribe if you want to. This is where all the updates will be. Okay, so the dirt area for the pigs is right outside this door. So obviously that's working. Manure's working. That definitely didn't work. I might need to mess with the tip trigger on, or the shovel trigger on that one. Pigs are still in there hanging out. Everything's getting really low because we didn't fill it too high. But hopefully that shows you guys that everything on the animal system is working. We've now tried every trigger with the exception of the manures, but I know those work. Farmer, the sky has not been changed from version 2 to 2.1. It's still the same sky. Okay, now fertilizer. Let's go check that since someone was asking. For the person that was asking about the fertilizer, is there any implement that you want me to try? Hopefully they're still in here. Just a normal trailer. Were you looking for dry fertilizer or the liquid fertilizer? Cody, thanks. We definitely worked on the sky a little bit to make it as good as we possibly could. the night sky texture is what we edited and changed the most. Alright, dry fertilizer. And I'm assuming you just want me to try a tipper? Okay. Well, I'm already here, I may as well just buy one. And then you said it was on the one at on the other side of the river, right? So the Miller feed and seed over here. Grant, I'm 3.16 GIS out of 5 gigabytes. I'm not sure exactly what you're meaning by that. Dave, you run into any of the mods that deletes tractors, animals, and stored crops from? I have not. I always ask people if they have mod conflicts or any problems with mods to definitely shoot us a message so we can add it to a list. And although I have had people message us that definitely have some mod conflicts, no, they haven't messaged me and told me about any new, or any, they haven't told me like exactly what. So for the time being, there actually is an all silo right here in the game. You don't have to install it, but I'm not sure. Yeah, there you go. There's your dry fertilizer going in. John, yeah, definitely the light add-on mod will not work, and don't put the animation map trigger mod in this. It's not like game breaking, but it will mess with the triggers for the lights and doors a little bit. So those are two mods that I can absolutely guarantee you conflict with this map. The light add-on and the animation map trigger mod. And there's your seeds. Hopefully that, I'm going to call you Fiskin because I can pronounce that part of your name. Fiskin, is that what you were wanting me to check there to make sure they were working? And like I said, there is that all silo here. So if you really want to cheat, you can come to the Miller Seed and Feed and you can buy anything and everything for free. Actually, I think it's free. Does it charge you? Nope, not a cent. So yeah, for now that'll be free. Sicko, yeah, I know. It is definitely tough when you have a lot of mods. Right now I only have a couple in here just to, you know, make sure, because it's kind of funny to me a lot of times, you know, the people that complain about the errors and things like that, they're always complaining about like Lua call stack errors. There's only 2 Lua call stack errors on this map, and what it is it's part of the fabric script, and that's just because UPK and fabric script don't get along very well. But if I have all of my mods in the folder, then oh yeah, by far my log will be full of Lua call stack errors. But that's because most of the mods have Lua call stack errors in them, and that's nothing to do with the map. It's just, you know, your log doesn't just read the map, it reads the mods too. And I think a lot of people that complain about the errors don't realize that. You would think they would, because a lot of them say they're big time modders, but I don't know. WP, yeah, I feel the same way too, although I am guilty of it. I tend to have a lot of mods in my game, even ones that I'm not necessarily using. Okay, so we've checked the animals, they're all working. We've checked the fertilizer and seed triggers, they are working. Do you guys want to see the ethanol plant working? Cody. Yep, I'm giving up. There's 2 errors, we're done, guys. Sorry, no more map. I'm just gonna scrap it. We'll start clean. Just wait a couple years for the next one. I don't understand why people get so angry about errors. You know, I had someone the other day comment that they refuse to use any mod or map that has an error in it, and the only thought that came to my mind was, I kind of feel sorry for you because you must not have very many mods in your game then. Because, you know, it's just, no one is an expert. I don't care who you are. No one is an expert at Giants Editor or making mods and maps. There are very few, there are a lot of mods that are out that have no errors, but there are very few maps that are 100% error free. And, you know, my goal is to get this map 100% error free at some point, but I don't know if I'll ever reach that goal. You know, hopefully. But I'm also a newbie. I don't really, you know, 3 months ago, guys, I didn't even barely know how to do anything on Giants. So, you know, this is my first map. Yeah, oops. And it's only got 2 Lua call stack errors. I think we're good. So, here is the ethanol plant that I added. Now, I got a lot of flack from this on Facebook because people said I was trying to claim these models as my own. I did not design these models 100 at all. All I did was rearrange them and place them into a spot that made it look like a traditional American ethanol plant. But these are not my models, and the credits will be in the release notes for the guy that did make them. So I don't want to get that confused. I don't like it when people accuse me of doing things that I didn't do, or at least didn't intend to. So let's load up with some corn here, and I'll show you guys the ethanol plant. We'll test that and make sure that works. Yeah, I know that's where you're thinking. I will check that. Let me go back over there and check that. I forgot. Sorry. Because that was the place, like I said, there wasn't. I know for a fact there wasn't triggers there in version 2. I think I added them, if I remember. But chances are for version 3 that CPS won't even be there. The crop production services. It's probably going to be something else. Yeah, WP, I'm just now, sorry, I'm just getting to your message here. I'm trying to read and drive again. The map ampling will definitely not work in multiplayer. And it will crash some servers, so if you're going to play multiplayer, don't use that. Alright, so let's test the probe. Probe is working. And the scale's working. Now guys, for the time being, this may change in version 3, but for the time being, depending on what door you drop is gonna alter what you get out of this. So door 1, if you just want to sell your grain and get money for it, you're gonna want to drop in door 1. If you are doing animals, dairy, whatever, and you're looking for the wet distiller's corn, you're gonna want to drop in door 2. Now eventually I think what we'll end up doing, if people don't like this way of doing it, is we will just make it so that you can drop corn in either, and you'll also be able to drop soybeans here in version 3. But you'll be able to drop corn in either or. You'll be paid for it, and then when you actually get distiller's corn, if you want it, you'll have to pay to get the distiller's corn. WP, it does work. You have to actually hit the trigger. Ooh, well, that's one thing I need to do is get the grass out of here. WP, you're gonna need to get. You're gonna have to actually hit circle O when you're under that probe for it to work. It doesn't work automatically. And the only reason I did that was that, you know, there's so many different trailer lengths and stuff that I didn't want it to just, as you pull under it, it works. So we'll go ahead and unload here, and you'll notice our gauges. There's one here next to the cab that you can look at, and then there's also one up on the ceiling there, or above the door there. Ryan, the probe it doesn't do anything as far as the game goes, but in real life, when you're pulling into an ethanol plant, the probe takes a little handful of grain out of your trailer, and then it sucks it in down a tube like a vacuum, and they check the moisture of it. So it doesn't actually check the moisture in game. It's more just there for show and just make it more realistic. So as you can see, we're starting to make wet distillers. It's at 874 right now. Now I've been playing around with the placement of the heap. Right now it's not showing, but I'm pretty sure if we give it some time it will start to grow. And maybe not. I might have to mess with the min-max on that. Because yeah, it should definitely be showing through the floor by now. So I will work on that one. But as you can see, we're now at 16,000. And the distiller's corn, you can either pull under the discharge pipe and get it, or when there is a heap actually. Sorry, my mouse I need a new mouse. This thing is not working with me. So eventually the heat does show up in here, and you can actually use a scoop, you know, front end loader or tractor to actually scoop it out, or you can pull under this discharge pipe and get it here. So there's the distiller's corn. Kata, yeah, definitely. If they do add that, I would love to see the probe actually work. You know, but I guess we'll see. For now, it's just going to be there for a realism aspect. Alrighty. Miller, I'm hoping either today or tomorrow. That's why I'm testing it right now, just making sure everything works. So far, it seems like the only thing we've found, I'm actually going to write this down so I don't forget it, is the distiller's heap needs to be fixed so it shows. WP, we actually were gifted a server, which was awesome. Ian, the guy that made Parker's Prairie, he had an extra server that he gave to us to use, but it was located in the UK, and we are having a bunch of problems with it because we're not obviously near the UK, and I think it's not going to work for us. We've tried, so we'll keep playing with it to see if we can get it up and running, but I think it's just that we're too far away from the host. But we will hopefully be getting a server, you know, to test it out here in the US, because I would love to play it online, but obviously money's tight. I've got bills to pay, so I don't have the money to throw towards the server right now. But we'll see. Any other things that you guys can think of? Tested the animals. Like I said, crops have all been tested pretty thoroughly. I don't know if any of you guys like logging. I know it's kind of hit and miss. Some people love the logging aspect of this game. Some people hate it. But we can definitely go try the sawmill real quick. Make sure that's working if you guys want to see it. If not, I won't bore you. Eagle Eye 2.1 either today or tomorrow. Hopefully, as long as everything works. Ryan, there is a donation link on the pinned post on the Facebook page. It's just the UMRV Facebook page. If you go to the pinned post, there's a PayPal link on there. Anybody that does want to download or does want to donate, it's much appreciated, but I don't like talking about it a lot because I'm not in this for the money. But anybody that does donate, it'll go towards our server. It'll go towards models that we can purchase to make some good mods for the community. So hopefully, we can keep giving back. Sicko, I could definitely try to dump there, but I actually don't think that'll show, just because if we do dump there, all we'll be doing is replacing what we already took out. But what I can do, actually, this might be a better way of checking it. Let's just keep dumping corn in. And I probably should have put that back, but oh well. We'll dump a bunch of corn in here and see if we can get the heap to show. I know it's there. It was working before, but I moved it down a little bit because I wanted it to be invisible until you started to load it. Andrew, there's no fields planted in grass, but there are a lot of grass, areas that you can mow and do hay. More, that's awesome, man. Yeah. It was kind of cool. I actually saw the video that the squad did on the first one he did of it, and then I watched the second one too. And one of the things that keeps me going with this, guys, is seeing all the people that appreciate it. I mean, there's always going to be the complainers and the people that want to have negative things to say. But like the squad, when he did his video, it's just cool to see videos like that and screenshots of people playing the map and stuff like that. I mean, when I'm going through Facebook and checking on different pages and I see someone posting screenshots of them playing this map, like that right there is what does it for me. That's, when I see that stuff, it's like, all right, I want to keep doing this, for people like that. Cody, the fields will not, some of the fields will have crops in them on this version, some of them won't. We've actually done a lot with the crops, so there may be some changes there. But as far as field dimensions and buyable fields, that's going to be version 3. So I'm just going to get a bunch of corn and just keep doing this and see if we can get it to show. Andrew, yeah, absolutely, man. No, by no means am I angered at people that can't donate. The way I view it, I guess, is it's like if you choose to donate and you feel the urge to do it, awesome. We appreciate it greatly. But we don't, we're not doing this for the money, and we understand that people have bills to pay and can't afford things. So, by all means. Alright, hopefully we've dumped 2 loads in here. Hopefully we'll start to see some. Phil, awesome. Glad that you love it. And Sicko, I'll definitely try that on this one. I'll fill it up, and if the heap's not there yet, I'll fill it up and dump on it. Let's see. Alright. So we're still at 16,000. Let's give this some time to produce here. Yeah, we should definitely be seeing it by now. We're at 47,000. The heap should be there. So I will go in and fix the heap. Like I said, it was there before. I might have accidentally set the min max too low or too high. Actually, sometimes the best way to check this is to look and make sure it's not floating in the sky. Alright, but yeah, I'll definitely go through and fix that. But I will try dumping on it right now. 173 hours played on the server. That's awesome. That is cool. I wish well, I say this, but it's actually not true. I wish I had that much time to actually play it instead of edit it. But I'll be honest, I know myself, and I actually enjoy editing the map more than I enjoy playing on it. So even if I did have the time to play on it, I'd probably, you know, I'd be in for like 15 minutes and then I'd find something I want to change or fix anyways. So, you know, I'd jump back in Giants. It's kind of funny if there was like a meter that showed how much I use Giants Editor versus the actual in-game. I'm probably in Giants Editor 80% of the time. Ryan, yeah, definitely. Don't worry about that, man. We're not gonna let those people get to us. You know, it's hard not to argue with them sometimes, or to, you know, try to prove a point with them. I mean, I'm guilty of it. Someone will say something nasty, and I'll try to be respectful about it, but I will, you know, call them out on things that they're lying or exaggerating about. But you know, I need to just tell myself that it's not worth it, because in the grand scheme of things, just version 2 alone's been downloaded over 6,000 times by people, and I've only heard maybe, you know, a handful of people complain. And if that's all we're gonna get is a handful of people complaining out of the 6,000 that downloaded it, then I think that's, in my mind, that's a success. Chad, absolutely. Sometimes it's hard not to. You know, I mean, I've put thousands of hours into this map, and, you know, others have put hundreds of hours into this map, and I don't know if I have the trigger set to unload here. Sicko, yeah, I think it's just gonna dump on the floor. So yeah, I will definitely check that out, because that's not the heap at all. That's just dumping on the floor. Fiskin, you will need to use a feed mixer that's been edited. The tippers and all that stuff, usually everyone that I've seen so far, it'll accept whatever's in the game, but the feed mixers are done a little differently. And we might actually try to release, if we can get permission from some people that have some mixers, we might actually try to release a mixer that is got everything scripted into it, so the people that don't know how to use it can. Jeff, I agree, and like I said, I'm guilty of it sometimes. It's hard not to, you know, when someone, I'm one of those people, I like to debate. That's just who I am, you know, but I like to do it respectfully, and I don't need to, you know, get to the name calling and things like that. So it's hard when someone, you know, criticizes me unfairly. I feel it necessary to kind of debate it and articulate my points and stuff like that. So it's very hard for me not to get dragged into those conversations, but I try my hardest not to. Usually the only people that I really confront are the ones that, you know, are being nasty about it, and unnecessarily nasty. Biskin, we might be able to do that if we can't get one that, if we can't get permission to release one, we might just do a video and show you guys how to edit the in-game ones. No, Sicko did not add it back. So the heap is definitely underground. I know it's there. It's just there's a minimum and a maximum setting you have to do on those, and I probably put it in wrong. Alrighty. Anything else anybody can think of that needs to be tested other than the log? I didn't get a whole lot of hits on the when I mentioned the logging. No one said anything about those, so I'm not going to bore you guys with that testing unless someone wants to see it. But other than that, everything that I've tested so far is working. We can do another kind of run through. Right now I gotta get to this super speed mode. Right now we're running 50 to 60 in here. 60. The church is 100% fixed. That will no longer turn black anymore. So that's a good plus. The sidewalks are still glitched out. But again, I've said this in almost every video where I talk about the sidewalks. The sidewalks, we know how to fix them. It's not that we're just not doing it. It's just it's going to be in some, it's going to take us some time. There's a lot of pieces there, and we'd rather work on the gameplay aspects first rather than work on the sidewalks. So there are some spots where you can see I'm getting in town. There's certain things that'll drop me down, but it's not lagging me at all. And for the most part, I'm still in the 60s. I mean, right now I'm still in the 60s. So there's certain things that'll lag you down, or not lag. I shouldn't say lag. Like, as you can see, I'm not lagging at all. It's just it'll slow you down in the 40s, things like that. But a lot of that's just, it's out of my control. It's just the fact that there's a lot of trees and a lot of objects on this map. Oops. So, as you can see, I'm not lying when I say it's getting 60. A lot of people fight with us on that. If you're not getting 60 on this map, then it's your computer or a mod that you have installed. It's as simple as that, because my computer is not the greatest computer and I'm getting 60. The stoplight mod will not work for multiplayer. That's just something that it's a limitation with Giants. I can't figure out how to get it to work. Maybe someone that's got better skills than me will, but I can't figure it out. The church demon has been slayed. Yes, finally. Also, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there is a distance terrain that we did put in, and it was actually in the beta. For those of you that remember that had the beta, it was in the beta, and then it got accidentally deleted out of the beta, and now it's back. So when you get to the edge of the map, it doesn't cut off so drastically now. There is some hills, out in the distance. So, oops. I'll kind of show you guys how that looks. So there's definitely some hills out in the distance and some farmland. When you're flying this high, it kind of looks bad because you'll see the black there where the sky meets nothing. But when you're actually in game, down here on the level you should be, you don't notice that, and it looks pretty good. And we tried to use one that, for the most part, looks realistic to the area. This is, there's a lot of bluffs and hills along the river here, so I think it looks pretty good. The church always entertained me. Ryan, it was kind of nice to, like one time you drive by it and it'd be black, one time you drive by it'd be white. Can you show the main farm? Yeah, I'll definitely show that. Yeah, Fiskin, I'll mess with the borders a little bit, and Kata, we'll see if we can get that so you can't see the black at all. Jacob, how's it going? Fleek, sorry, you asked that earlier and I completely forgot to mention it. Pedestrians and traffic, they're a touchy subject for me because it will drop your FPS, no doubt about it. Especially on a map this big and with as many roads as this has. We have got it in, but it brought the FPS down low enough to where I wasn't comfortable with it, and so we've been playing around with different ideas of how to add it without dropping the FPS. If we can get it working and it works smoothly and doesn't cause too much of an issue, we'll add it. But in my personal opinion, I never play with the traffic, only just for the mere fact that it screws with you more than it actually benefits you. I mean, it's nice to have the map moving and look alive, but the cars in 17 are ridiculous. They're like, you know, a little compact car can hit a combine and send the combine flying, and the car doesn't even move. It just doesn't make sense to me. Sicko, that's definitely true. Fiskin, yeah, the traffic is only for people who like to get pissed off. I mean, like I said, it's definitely, it's nice to have a moving map. It makes it feel alive, but it's a pain in the butt. Anders, what's going on? Nice to see you too. Jake, without giving away too many spoilers here, there are some AI police. There's a state trooper. Oops. And there will be some, well, I shouldn't say AI. Sorry, I spoke wrongly there. There's some static police. Now, there's no way we'll be able to get AI cops that actually chase you. It would be a scripting nightmare. I'm not nearly versed enough in scripting to be able to do that. There might be someone that could. It would probably be a lag monster, but there will be some static police, and we have debated on whether we could install the speed, because there are some maps that actually have the speed. You know, or if you're going too fast, it'll write you a ticket kind of thing. I don't know if we're going to do that yet, but and there will be some parked cars and things like that in version 3. We just haven't gotten around to them yet. Anders, to make everything work properly, you'll definitely need a new save game. If you wanted to, you could always you could change the name to back to the original name, and it would still work, but you're not going to get, it's not like the ethanol plant would be all messed up, and because there's some terrain changes and foliage changes. Kata, there'll definitely be a barge that moves up and down the river. Rest in peace to the traffic cars. Yeah, those were a little better than those older versions. So someone did want to see the main farm. Technically that would be this one. This is the farm that you start off at, the sheep farm. It's kind of set up more like an older farm. Now, there's been one complaint that I've gotten pretty consistently from some people, that the farms are too small and they're too tight to get in and out of, and there's not enough storage for buildings. And you know, as much as I do truly understand that, my number one goal when I made this map wasn't to make a map that necessarily everybody would love. It was to make a map that was realistic to this area of the real world. And in this area of the real world, you do not see big super farms with, you know, giant wide driveways and entrances and, you know, 15 gigantic storage barns for all of your equipment. The farms in this real world area are very small, and they're mostly family farms. You know, they're farms where the farmer may only have 1 or 2 tractors and you know, maybe an older combine. The sprayers and things like that, they usually they pay for someone to come out and spray fields. So I wanted to set this up realistically. Now, one of the fixes to that, if you do want to have a bunch of equipment and you don't have storage, you can obviously either use placeables, or you can do what is actually pretty common in real life, that they will, you know, there might be one farmer that doesn't, he might own this farm here, but he might also own this farm down here. And, you know, so he can use this storage, you know, for equipment, and he can also use this storage for equipment. So I mean, if you really want to use a ton of equipment and have a lot of buildings, you can, you know, occupy more than one farm. Every farm in this map is, you know, a working farm. It has buildings with doors and lights, and every one of them you could use. So, and there are some additions, like this was actually a request from one of the guys in the group that's been helping in testing. He always uses this farm, and he asked if he needed a little bit more storage, so he asked if he could have a second, you know, basically a shed down here for some more equipment and some more silos. And there's actually a little dirt road that gets you from one farm to the other, so you can actually take a shortcut through the woods if you wanted to. And then of course there are some farms, like the dairy has a pretty decent amount of storage just in this building alone. You can fit quite a bit in there. Or you do have the red barn farm over here, which probably has, well, hang on, let me go to the pig farm first. The pig farm does have quite a bit of storage. You've got 3 different sheds plus a Quonset hut that opens for storage. And then you also have this farm over here with the red buildings. It's got 3 different sheds that are pretty decent sized. So you could fit quite a bit of equipment in this one. And then while I'm at it, because I guess I forgot to show you guys, for those of you that were really wondering about the changes, there is a farm finally on the Wisconsin side. However, this farm, from day one, the plan for this farm was always to make it a very small, older style farm, because all these fields up on the Wisconsin side are small fields. And so if there's someone that wants to use like the older equipment and they don't want these big gigantic fields that they're going to be in all day, they can use these farm fields, and then they're going to have more of an older style. You've got some open sheds, you've got a house here with some garage doors, and then you've got an equipment shed in the back. So that is now installed on the Wisconsin side. And then I'll show you real quick the sawmill while we're up here. The sawmill's not 100% done. It is functional, but this is the sawmill area, and you actually load your logs in here. We can open the building up, and again, this will all work, and it'll make the pallet boards, or the boards of whatever, the pallets of boards I should say. Again, it's not completely finished. There will be some more details added, and I might even change some of the buildings in version 3. Try to make it a little more detailed and make it feel alive. But anyways, I'm going to try to catch up on some messages here. Hey, this isn't a Texas map, exactly. This part of Iowa is really kind of a small, well, not a small, but like the fields are hard to get into. They have a lot of bends and fingers, and the farms are pretty small. Ryan, yeah, the area is Wisconsin and Iowa. When I made this map, when I first started, I didn't know what I was doing, and so I didn't even think to check what side the sun would come up on and what side would be north and all that stuff. So the map is actually backwards. Iowa is on the east and Wisconsin's on the west. So like when you're looking at this PDA, you're actually, the top would be south, the bottom would be north. And we do have a way to fix this, and we've considered it, but the map's been out so long that I'm worried that if we if we do flip it all of a sudden, people are going to be so confused because everything's going to be backwards. So we're still kind of contemplating on whether we're going to actually change it or not. But it is Iowa and Wisconsin. It's the Iowa-Wisconsin border, near like Prairie du Chien or McGregor, Iowa, that area. Fleek, there will be mud on version 3, but there's not mud on version 2.1. Ed, we have thought about putting a fertilizer plant and a seed plant, but those types of items will come in version 3 if they do come. Anders, currently I have the reset point. I think it's still set up. Let's try this. I think it's currently set up on the road. What am I doing? Here we go. Oh, never mind. We put it out here. So I remember now why we put it here. So basically, the reset point is, let me do this just to give you the repoint is up in this area. And the main thought behind this is you've got a nice big grass area here to put things in, so it's not going to glitch out and reset you in the middle of trees or anything. But it's also kind of centrally located to, you know, this farm, this farm, this farm, this farm. So you're going to be close to any of those farms if you do have to reset equipment. If you're resetting from the shop, it's going to, you know, get you up that giant hill, so you're not going to have to climb that giant hill. It'll at least get you closer. And to be honest, now that we discovered this teleport mod, there's really no point in reset points anymore. If you guys have the teleport mod, it's I think called the, what is it called, the something TAR or something, teleport mod. But if someone knows the name, go ahead and comment it on the chat there for everybody. But basically, you know, you can teleport anywhere you want to go. So and you can actually teleport with trailers attached and all that kind of stuff. So you really don't need reset points anymore. This is what I just use the teleport mod now. I'm using 3 different farms. Trying to catch up on some. Trying to catch up on some messages here. Yeah, Tardy's teleport is what it is. Oh, gotcha. It doesn't work in multiplayer. That could definitely be a bad thing. Kata, yeah, a lot of people do that instead. And definitely WP, when I'm playing the game, when I'm actually playing the game and I'm not testing it, I'm with you. I actually like driving everything to the farm and getting it set up and parking things in certain places. And that's also another reason why I actually prefer these small farms, because to me, you know, I've never seen a farm where they have, you know, 5 feet around each tractor and every tractor has a way out of the shed on its own. I mean, most farms, those sheds are packed full, and you know, it's almost like a puzzle trying to get things in and out of those sheds. And to me, that's part of the fun, is that when you're done with the equipment, you got to find a place to store it and park it and kind of weave in and out of the buildings. And so I actually prefer the smaller farms. I have seen some mods blow up on teleport. I haven't seen that yet, but that would be kind of amusing. Yeah, Sicko, I think, you know, we debated so many different places to put the reset point, and there just was not any perfect location. And so this was as close as we could get. It's not on a road. It's a decent area. You can fit trailers in here. We did have the reset points in front of the farm on the road, but if you, let's say you reset like a semi trailer, it was almost impossible to get it hooked up to the semi, and so this is really kind of the only spot that works the best. It's not perfect, but it's okay. Farm recline, yeah, absolutely. You know, you got to empty everything just to get to that one piece of equipment you want. But again, to me, it adds more realism to the game and it makes it more fun to actually have to do that stuff. So WP, I haven't actually used that tow bar yet. I'm curious to try it, but I haven't used it. Old guy, yeah, that's definitely one of the biggest things that will ruin a map for me personally, is when everything is just a square gravel pad with a bunch of buildings on it. To me, it just ruins the realism part of it, and I cannot play a simulator game that's not realistic. And so that's why I tried to make the farms, you know, as realistic as possible. Old guy, what's up, man? Glad to see some people like that in here, and thanks for all the other 52 people that are in here watching. For those that just kind of joined us, we were just testing some things out, making sure everything's working. This is version 2.1. Hopefully it will be released either later tonight or tomorrow, as long as all the people testing it get back to me and say, yeah, everything's working. Then we'll go ahead and get it out. It is not finished. It is still a beta. Version 3 will be the final, and even version 3 might, you know, there might be some updates to it, but version, I mean, I'll never stop, you know, supporting it. If there's problems, we'll go ahead and fix them. But version 3 is going to be like the final that has everything in it, and this version 2.1 is still an open beta. There still will be things changing and being fixed. Just want to get that disclaimer out there. Oops, running over signs. Anders, well, I appreciate that. It's good to see that there's, you know, so many people supporting it and you know, wanting to actually see the updates, and it's a good feeling knowing that there's people that enjoy it and want to see it succeed. And it definitely keeps us moving along. But with that said, I've got to go pick up my son from school here, so and basically I'm pretty much done testing what I wanted to test. But I really do appreciate all the people that have watched and, you know, helped along the way. And you know, the way I view this is it's like a community project. Everybody's helped in their own ways, whether it's the people that helped contribute to the map itself, or the people that are downloading it right now in the open beta, testing it and sending us messages and telling us, you know, hey, I noticed this is out of place or that's wrong. We can't make this map perfect without your guys' help, so it's kind of cool to see the community coming together behind something. I can't say thank you enough for the Facebook likes, the YouTube subscribers. I mean, our Facebook has grown. I think 2 months ago it was at 1,000, maybe 1,200 people, and I think now we're at like 2,500, and steadily rising. So that's awesome to see. The YouTube account, last time I checked, was like 700 subscribers or close. So that's awesome. It's just it's cool seeing all this grow and take off. And it's going to be great to have that fan base, because when we get the second map and the third map and the fourth map out, you guys are going to be able to get all the updates right here. So definitely subscribe if you haven't, and please go like the Facebook page. See you later too. Thank you guys. DDM, thanks. Farmer, thank you. Trent, absolutely, man. Hopefully you enjoy it and it works out for you. Kata, the trees were a nightmare. It took a long time to place all those trees. Alright guys, well thanks again. I'm gonna go ahead and jump off here. I gotta pick my son up in half an hour, so family's definitely more important than the video game. But I do appreciate all you guys, and until next time, we will catch you later. Thank you.